With us now to talk about these latest military developments, retired Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, a defense and foreign policy expert at Defense Priorities and host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive. Thank you. We've talked to you a whole lot during the course of this conflict. I appreciate you giving us some more time today. Again, the most dramatic thing here, it seems to be, because I don't think people are following every little drip-drop maneuver of this war. We rarely do for a war that doesn't involve our own soldiers. But if Biden has created this red line, meaning if you go into Rafah, then I'm going to start withholding certain weapons. And now, according to reports, there are Israeli tanks in the middle of Rafah. Do you think the president will make good on that red line promise? Because that's a kind of a throwback to the Obama years and his red line in Syria that ended up being more of a talking point than an actual red line. And Biden's in the same political danger of perhaps reneging on that if his policy doesn't change. Where are we in that sense? How critical is Rafah to American policy going forward?
Yeah, well, let's take those two things into two separate pieces. The first one there about the red line, in my view, this is much worse than the issue with the Obama situation, because that was something that didn't really directly affect American interests one way or the other. But this one is inextricably linked to our, our best ally in the Middle East, in Israel. And for Biden to say very specifically that this is the red line, going into Rafah without a plan that we agree with is a good one, or there's going to be consequences, and then Israel says, yeah, I hear you, I don't care, and they go ahead and they do it exactly into the area you say. They hit the areas which are allegedly cleared areas where the civilians are supposed to go to be safe, and even that gets hit. So it just puts the president in a position to where he has to go against some of his best political supporters in his presidential campaign season, which of course he doesn't want to do. But then the alternative is that your words mean absolutely nothing to anyone, whether an adversary, a friend, anyone politically. So that's also going to harm him. Even if you've just taken the morality out of it, which I never do, but if you did, even that's going to harm him politically. So I think he's making all the wrong moves here, and it's just completely jamming things up for our own interests.
And to be clear, what Biden said was, if you make this move in Rafah, I will withhold certain weapons. So there's a condition in there, not like, you know what, we're out, we're moving on, we're no longer with you. It's just certain weapons. So it's a deeply qualified red line, just to be clear. So again, walking an impossible tightrope.
And it kind of seems like, that parent that threatens, I'm going to put you in timeout, I'm going to put you in timeout the next time you do it, and then they keep doing it. The kid, of course, keeps doing it, and it doesn't happen. So if this is not the red line, you see tanks in Gaza, these airstrikes killing civilians. If this is not the red line, what does a full-scale operation look like if it isn't already this?
Right, and I think that self-evidently that's a rhetorical question, because the answer is nothing. There's not going to be one. I can't even imagine anything at this point. If what has happened up to this point in the last few days doesn't qualify as crossing the red line that Biden himself set and enumerated, then I can't imagine what anything would, because it's been a pretty blatant violation of his self-declared red line. So I think the bottom line is, that Israel recognizes this based on their actions, that there is no red line, that Biden will do it. And look, he's under enormous, tremendous pressure from his political opponents not to have a red line. And there's a lot of people who are violently angry about even this supposition of a red line. So he'll get actually support from that quarter. But what's not going to change? It's not going to do anything for those civilians and those innocent people that are caught in the crossfire that keep dying in large numbers. And frankly, it's not going to do anything to make Israel safe long term, because, as I've said many times on your show, this path is not going to produce security for Israel. Everybody's going to lose here.
And Netanyahu has said that he is willing to do this alone, with or without
yes,
the U.S.
he's made
support.
that very clear.
Yeah, he's made that clear.
And has continued to defy us. Also striking is that there was this photo yesterday, and we talked about this, about Nikki Haley. And I know, her political future is still somewhat unclear. I'm not asking you to wade into politics, but she signed something, signed a munition,
right.
And she wrote, finish them. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it there. What's your reaction to a prominent American politician writing finish them on a munition ahead of a war that is horribly divisive here at home?
Yeah, I find it reprehensible, just point blank, especially as a combat veteran, somebody who used to actually fire 155mm shells. This is not our war. We're not at war with anyone. And for our United Nations former ambassador to come in and sign something with glee, knowing that many of those shells are errant and end up killing innocent civilians, especially as it had just happened and many civilians were killed, and to gleefully go and sign that is, I just found it reprehensible and the literal opposite of diplomacy. That should never have happened, and I think it's an ugly stain on America right now.
I know this is not a yes or no question, and I apologize for doing this to you. Do you think it is an oversold idea that it is profoundly important for America to protect the lone democracy in the Middle East?
I have no problem answering that question. It's way overblown because we have been supporting Israel for decades with a lot of military support, intelligence support, and everything else so that they can provide their own defense. And they have done it. I mean, where was all this, talk in the 1967 war, in the 1973 war? We didn't fight on their behalf on either of those occasions. They did. They can handle this as well. They don't need our help. So I don't understand why there's this emphatic desire that we have to help them as though they're, this little baby in a crib that can't stand on its own, when they definitely are the most, significant military power in the region. They can handle this on their own, and they should, just not killing innocent people with our bombs.
Interesting. So, really quick, what do you think changed then? Is it the fact that we have such access to information now than we did in the 70s or prior to that? We see it on our phones at all time. We see the video, we see photos. Is that the main difference?
Yeah. It's a combination of that and also a very concerted effort by supporters of Israel that want to continue to feed all of this narrative, both in social media and in regular media and advertisements, meetings with congressmen. All of that above has emphatically fed this to make this the case. But it's just getting a lot of caught up in emotion. It's just not grounded in reality.
Caught up in emotion and domestic politics, like most things these days. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, always great conversation. Always appreciate your insight and your passion on this issue. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Julie.